Hey guys, it's Miss Hall. I'm the art teacher at East York and Yorkshire Elementary Schools, and today I'm here to show you how you can draw basically any animal you want if you start with an oval. So when you break something down into simple shapes, that's called compounding shapes. Can you say that with me? Compounding shapes. When you're compounding shapes, that means you're just putting shapes together, almost like you're building with Legos or blocks. So we're going to start with an oval and talk about how you can use compounding shapes to turn it into any animal you want. I wound up turning mine into this fish, but you can make yours into whatever your favorite animal is. So let's get started.
So let's talk about how you can use compounding shapes to make really most animals that you can think of. I'm just using sort of just some normal pieces of paper here just to sketch out a bunch of different animals. And I want to show you how you can pretty much make most animals that you can think of just by starting with an oval. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this one out of the way, get a nice fresh piece of paper. And for this part, we're just going to be sketching out on any paper you can find, if you have computer paper or a sketchbook at home. And then we're going to take our favorite one and we're going to turn it into a big final project. So what I'm going to do is on my piece of paper, I'm going to do 4 different ovals. And we know that an oval is just a stretched out circle. And depending on how you make your oval, you can decide what kind of animal you want it to be. So this one's sort of more of a long, skinny oval. I'm going to do a big round oval, which would be something like a bear or something like that. I'll do kind of a tilted oval for my bird that's going to be flying in the sky. And then I also want a sideways big oval. Big oval. So however wide you make your oval can help you decide if this is going to be a long, thin animal or a big, wide animal. So let's start over here. So I've got these 4 ovals to work with. They're all similar shapes, but I can turn them into lots of different things. So let's say maybe with this big giant oval, I wanted to turn this into a pig. And I'm going to think about, okay, this is the body of my pig. Now, what are some things that my pig is going to need? Well, my pig is going to need 4 legs. So for my 4 legs, I'm going to use 4 rectangles, and pigs aren't very tall. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that I'm making some legs a little bit shorter because those are the legs that are behind the pig, so they're a little bit smaller. And then let's see, I've got my body, I've got my legs. What else does my pig need? Well, he's probably going to need a curly Q tail. Curly tail. So I can add that on the back. And now he's going to need a head. And you might be thinking to yourself, Miss Hall, I don't know how to draw a pig's head. That's a really hard shape. Well, let's break it down into simple shapes. So what if we gave our pig a big circle head connected to my oval? Okay, now we can see how this is starting to turn into a pig. How am I going to give him a nose? Maybe I can just put a nice square right here. There's my pig's nose. I can give him some triangles for his ears, maybe a little eye. Maybe I can even give him a smile too. There we go. Now I got my little pig, and all I needed to start with was an oval. Now, how about this big one right here? What else could we turn this animal into? Maybe we can make this guy a big panda. I know a lot of you love pandas. So let's think about this. If this is the body of my panda, what are some things that he's going to need? He'll probably need some he'll probably need some hands and feet. So why don't I give him some hands and feet? So to do that, I could give him rectangles for his feet, and I can give him rectangles for his hands. And what do we know? What do pandas eat? They eat bamboo. So I'm going to use some skinny rectangles and some leaf shapes to give him some bamboo in his hand. So now I've got the body of my panda. Now he needs a head. So what if I used a big circle for his head? I could use circles for his ears. So these are all shapes that we know. Give him a little oval for a nose. ovals for eyes. He's looking at that bamboo like yum. Pandas usually have ovals that go around their eyes. And I'm going to give him 2 lines for his smile. Maybe a big old line on his belly. Then we got a panda. All we had to do was start with an oval. How about this one right here? Maybe what we can turn this one into is a horse. I know a lot of you ask me a lot about how to draw a horse. And what's cool about that is once you know how to draw a horse, then you know how to draw a giraffe, you know how to draw a zebra, you know how to draw lots of different animals. So let's think about this. So we know that a horse has 4 legs. So I'm going to use longer rectangles this time because we know that horses are tall. So I'm going to give him 2 legs back here, 2 legs up here. What else does our horse need? It probably needs a tail, so I'm going to give it a nice curly tail back here. Now let's think about this. Just like the pig, you might be thinking, Miss Hall, I don't really know how to draw a horse head. That sounds really, really hard. But actually, it's not that hard at all. So I'm going to start right up here with a circle. Notice how these 2 pieces are not connected. That's because I'm going to draw 2 lines. 1, 2, to connect my body and my head. I'm going to give him a rectangle for the nose, some triangles for the ears, give him a little line for his eyes and his nose, and then why don't we go ahead and give him a mane? And for the mane, I'm just going to use my pencil to just draw lines for where his hair would be. And check it out. Now we got a horse. And for this last one right here, let's talk about how to draw a bird. So we've got a farm animal, a wildlife animal, another farm animal. Let's do another wildlife animal. So let's make this one like a parrot or an eagle or something like that. So I know that this is the body of my bird. So what are some things my bird is going to need? Well, my bird's definitely going to need a head. So I'll give him a circle for the head. What I love about this is just this oval and circle. You could turn that into so many things. You could turn that into a butterfly. You could turn that into a dragonfly. You could turn this into a bird, whatever you want to be. And you just started with an oval and a circle. So from here, let's think about this. I need to give my bird some wings. So I'm going to use some triangles for the wings. I'm going to draw out and down and out and down. Got some nice curvy triangles. I'm going to use a triangle for my tail too. I'm going to give a little bit of a curvy edge down there for my tail too. Then let's see, what else? Oh, I can use a triangle again for the beak for my bird. Give him some eyes. And then maybe I can go in and give him some cool feather patterns too. Maybe if I use another oval right here and I can draw some loopy lines to be the feathers on his belly. Check it out. Now we got a bird. So that's 4 different animals you can use an oval to draw. So why don't we think about what are some other animals that you could draw using an oval? I'm going to get another piece of paper. I want to show you a couple more examples of what I mean. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to start with some plain old ovals. I'm going to do an up and down oval. I'm going to do a diagonal oval because I want to make this one into another little bird. I'm going to do another one, but I want to make this one a really long oval because I want to make this one a butterfly. So let's see. Let's do this butterfly one. So I've got this really long, skinny oval. And what does my butterfly need? Well, he needs a head. So I'm going to give him a circle for the head. Maybe on top of the head, I can give him some curly antenna. So now what else does my butterfly need? He needs some wings. So I'm going to use some really nice curvy triangles for my wings. And I'm going to go out, come right down here to the middle of my butterfly, come out. Ta-da! I'll do the same thing right here. Curve it out, right down here to the middle of my butterfly, and up. And then they have more wings that go down. So right here where this other one ended, I'm going to start my next one. Right down here to the bottom. Same thing over on this side. And one thing I love about butterflies is that they have tons and tons of detail inside of their wings. So this is a great chance to get in here and use some patterns and lines to create some cool shapes for your butterfly. Now, what about this one? Maybe I want to create a different kind of bird. Maybe I want to do a bird, I'm looking at it from the side. So this is still the body. Give him a circle for the head. So most of my animals are starting with an oval for the body and a circle for the head. I'm going to give this one a really long beak. It's almost like he's going to touch this butterfly because I want this to be a hummingbird. Miss Hall loves hummingbirds. And a nice little eye, an eyelid, or an eyebrow. Now I need to give this guy some wings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to still use triangles, but I'm going to have them come up from the body and back down, up from the body and back down. See how now I've got those wings in there? And I'll use another little triangle to create the tail. There you go. Now you got a hummingbird. How about with this upright body? We could turn this into a cat or a dog really, really easily. And I'm going to do another oval right here because I think it would be cool if we talked about how to do a fish or maybe a shark or something like that. So, got this oval right here. Now let's think about this. I need to give my cat or dog a head. So I'm going to give it a nice circle. Let's turn this one into a dog, but you can make it a cat really easily too. So I've got my circle. Now I need to give my animal the rest of its body. So I know that if my dog is sitting up nice and straight, that I'm going to have his legs in the front here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle with a circle on the bottom. I'm going to draw a rectangle with a circle on the bottom. I'm going to do two little ovals down here because those are his back feet that are sticking out. And I'm going to give him a nice tail that he's going to wag because he's happy that you guys are home. So now you can see this is starting to turn into a dog. I'm going to give him some floppy ears. Maybe your dog has ears that stick straight up. I'm going to give him some eyes with circles and some eyebrows. I'm going to give him a nice little oval nose, two curvy lines, and a big old tongue because that's what your dog does all day, right? So now at this point, if your dog has spots or stripes or any kind of fun things, you could totally turn this into your dog. And for our last oval today, let's talk about this guy and how to turn him into a fish because it's actually not as hard as you might think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my oval, and once again, I'm going to think about, all right, what are some things that my fish will need? Well, my fish is going to need a tail, so guess what? We can use a nice big triangle for the tail. What else is my fish going to need? He might need a fin up top. Guess what? Triangle once again. How about some little fins on the bottom so he can swim? Guess what? Triangle once again. I'm going to give him a nice little smile. Fish have big eyes, so I'm going to give him a big circle. Check it out. I've got a fish. And maybe I can even use some circles to give him some little bubbles coming out of his mouth. There we go. That's 8 different animals you can make just by using an oval. All right, so now that I've practiced drawing so many different animals using my ovals, I'm going to pick whichever one I like the best, and I'm going to make a nice big painting or drawing out of it. So to do this, you'll need your piece of paper, you'll need a pencil, and you'll need whatever kind of coloring tools you'd like to use. You could use crayons, markers, watercolor, whatever things you have at home. So what I'm going to do right now is I actually really liked how my fish turned out. So I'm going to make an even bigger fish. So I'm going to start with a big oval this time. And remember, if we make a mistake, it's no big deal. That's what they read erasers for, right? Big oval. And now I'm going to turn this guy into my fish. So I'm going to use a triangle to be the tail. I'm going to use a triangle to be the fin up here. I think that's called a dorsal fin. I'm going to use some small triangles to be his swimming fins. I'm going to give him some nice big eyes. I'm actually going to give him 2 eyes because I think I want him to be facing forward. Notice I'm just using circles for my eyes. Give him some eyebrows. Give him a nice big smile. Kind of looks like Nemo a little bit. And you know what? One part that I forgot is if it's a fish, he's going to need some gills so that he can breathe. Beautiful. And then we can give him some little bubbles to show that he's talking about something. Beautiful. So then once you make your fish, boys and girls, then you can think about, or whichever animal you choose to do. Maybe you chose to do a pig or a cat or a bird. Then you want to think about, okay, where would this animal be? So for me, I chose to do a fish, so that means he's going to be under the sea. Maybe you did a pig and you want to put yours on a farm. Or maybe you did a cat and you want to put yours sitting in a windowsill. That's totally up to you. But for my fish, I'm going to use some wiggly lines, just wiggly lines. And I'm going to draw some seaweed because my fish is under the sea. Beautiful. And now I think it's just about time to add some color. I think what I want to do as well is I want to go up and add some details in my fish to show what texture he is. So I'm going to do some lines on the fins. I'm going to do some lines on this top fin too. I'm going to make it a little bit pointier. And on these bottom fins. And then what I think I want to do is up here in this area, I'm going to draw a little bit of a line. I want to give him some scales. So I'm going to use some U's to show that my fish has scales. You could add the pattern in the feathers, something like that. But now I've got my fish and I'm ready to add some color. All right, so I've got my fish. I started with an oval, used some different shapes to create the different parts of my fish. I went through and I outlined this guy in Sharpie, so it was a little bit easier to see. So if you have any Sharpie or pen at home, that would be a great choice. If not, it's no big deal. I'm just gonna go back in right now and erase any extra pencil marks that I have left behind. Just to get rid of those, because the Sharpie will stay behind, but the pencil marks will get erased away. And now I'm going to use whatever materials I have here at home to add some color to my fish. I want to color the entire thing. So I happen to have crayons and watercolor paint. So I'm going to use a mixture of those two things. But you could really use whatever you have at your house. Colored pencils, markers, whatever you'd like. So let's add some color. All right, I've got my very colorful fish. I chose to use orange because I wanted it to look like a goldfish, and I used watercolor for the background to give it that watery effect. Can't wait to see how yours turn out. Make sure that you click the link in the Related Arts menu to share your final project on the group Flipgrid so we can see what you did. Can't wait to see them.